There's no sound. There's no sound because there's no one here. Oh, yeah. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Fa 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 fa. The beach bunker is no more. It has been taken over. It is now a house of horror. Oh, forgot my green light. Look at this. I gotta break the mood. Hang on. Ta-da! Happy Halloween, Sunseekers! Yeah, we are here. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you. I like how, thanks, guys. Everyone freaking out over technical stuff over this. There's no sound. What is that? What's going on? Where's Tyler? Oh, is he safe? Has somebody taken him and murdered him on Halloween? You guys are so concerned about me. Oh, happy Halloween. Welcome to the haunted beach hunker. A beach hunker? Oh, the spirits have invaded my mouth. Welcome to the haunted beach bunker and a Halloween edition of the Tyler Glenn Show. We've got a lot of Halloween fun planned for you today, from a psychic to paranormal guests. Yeah, we're going to talk about ghosts. We're going to see if ghosts actually talk back. Ouija boards, ghost hunting. We're also going to talk about haunted places in Western Manitoba. And I can't believe in my area of the country, there is so much haunting. There is so much scary stuff going on. And apparently there's quite a bit of it. So we're going to get to that and more. But we are going to break character just for a quick sec because the big story this morning, of course, is the trick-or-treaters going out tonight. And it is going to be cold. Man, trick-or-treaters, I'm so sorry. It's part of living in this part of the world. October 31st rolls around, and if you can find a store to go to or a shopping center to go to, or if your parents are kind enough to, roll right up to the front door with their car and open the door and you run to the door and trick or treat, hurry up as fast as you can. I'm freezing in this Barbie costume. You gotta do it fast. And some of the news this morning, some of the news headlines say that Canadians have spent less this Halloween than in a generation. And in our area, that is probably not a bad thing. That could actually work in our favor because we could, have small crowds tonight. It'll be interesting to see. But nevertheless, we are in for a very, very cold Halloween tonight, and we're going to take you outside here and take a look at what things are looking like across southern Manitoba. We did have a section of the Trans-Canada Highway. On a serious note, a section of the Trans-Canada Highway was closed last night because of the ice. I don't know what happened. About 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, the winds picked up, the sun was shining, but it was like a blizzard. There was snow blowing up against the windows in my house, and I thought, oh my God, we're having a blizzard. I look outside, and the sun is shining. But, we had some really gusty winds, and it was blowing against the window where it melted, and then it was kind of like a freezing drizzle, and it's just really weird. And I'm thinking that happened on the Trans-Canada Highway between the Saskatchewan border and 21, and they had to close it down. It got way too icy yesterday, and they also had to close down a section of the bypass near Portage yesterday. Those have all since reopened. And we do have some slippery sections still being reported this morning, so do be careful as you hit the highway today. And it is really cold. With our wind chill, it is feeling like minus 24. I know this one says 22, but Environment Canada, the beach bunker is 14, feels like 22, and Environment Canada is saying minus 15. It feels like minus 24. So it is a cold, cold start to the morning. Here is a look at the... Let's see if I can pull up I'll pull up the forecast at the end. Let's take a look at the air temperature. How are we comparing across the board here? This is what things are looking like. Yeah, we got the dreaded purple just in time for Halloween. The dreaded purple nurple. And it is deathly cold. Deathly cold. Whoosh. Wind chill map. Yeah, this is not good. Coldest part of the continent is us, Manitoba and Saskatchewan and western North Dakota, eastern Montana. Going to have the coldest Halloween, unfortunately, for trick-or-treaters this year. So, again, for that, I do apologize. I wish it was a little bit better. Oh, man. Let's get you back to the haunted beach bunker and the forecast. So they're saying that by the time trick-or-treat time rolls around, it'll probably be around minus 10. There's your trick-or-treaters forecast, kids. Minus 8 with sun and cloud today. 30% chance of flurries. Minus 13, but by the time you hit the street tonight, it should be around minus 10. So yeah, it is. It is going to be a cold, cold Halloween this year. Let's say good morning to our sun seekers in chat as we get things rolling on a Halloween edition of the show. And we start off by saying good morning to Tasha Licious, who was in early this morning, along with the Road Reverend. Polar Bear was also in there too this morning. Good morning to you. Who else are we saying good morning and happy Halloween to? Porky Jr. And Halloween bothers the dog for Porky Jr., so he says that they got to sit that out. You're not alone. I think we're up to half of Canadians will sit out Halloween this year. And would you believe that not only will half of Canadians sit out Halloween this year, but I'm also reading that 2/3 of those Canadians spent, the ones that are participating, 2/3 have spent less than $20 on treats. I think that the treats won't last all that long. That is, it's not going to take long before you got to shut the lights off, I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay, so who else we got this morning in chat? Polar Bear is here. Porky Jr. is here. Road Reverend is here. Misbehavin' is here. Happy Halloween to you, Misbehavin'. Nice to see you. Along with Lindy. Good to see you this morning, Lindy. Good morning and happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you. I'm having a hard time reading in the dark. It's so dark. It's so dark. Zumba Bernice in Ottawa. Good morning, Zumba Bernice. Happy Halloween to you. Happy Halloween to Paul Croft. Nice to see you this morning. Welcome aboard. Welcome. We've also got Quentin. Good morning, Quentin. Happy Halloween. Hope the kids have fun tonight trick-or-treating. They're just kind of getting to that age, aren't they? They got a few years left, maybe 1 or 2 years left before they're like, Dad, we want to start going with the friends. And then it starts with, trick-or-treating with the friends, and then it's like, yeah, we got to sit this one out, Dad. Nick Adams, happy Halloween and good morning. Nice to see you. Nice to see you this morning as well. Derek is here. Tyler, you have no sound. Someone is trying to kill you. Mama Sunday is here. Good morning to you, Mama Sunday. Nice to see you. Oh, lots of Halloween well wishes and trick-or-treats and happy Halloween. Happy Halloween, Cindy. Nice to see you. Lady Harrison, good morning and happy Halloween to you. Happy Halloween. Yes, hope you have a good one. Lindy Lux, and they are going with their friends this year. Sad. Oh, they are going with their friends. Oh, so they've reached that point. Okay. As long as they're warm, that's the main thing, right? Stay warm. We're going to have Debbie Cool join the show after 8 o'clock, and she is a tarot card reader. Now, in all fairness to Debbie, I've thrown her on the spot. It's Halloween. I said, you know what? Could you come on and do a few tarot card readings? I don't know if she can even do that. I just wanted to find out a little bit more about how tarot card readings work. It's Halloween. It's a spooky kind of thing. So she's on the West Coast, so she'll join us after 8 o'clock this morning to talk about that. So that'll be exclusively for our friends on Twitch, twitch.tv/Tyler Glenn Show. And then coming up after 7:30, we've got Kelly and Ashley here from Winnipeg Paranormal. Now, these girls go into haunted houses. They go into places where people are generally trying to flee. They're trying to get rid of their house. They're having difficulty because there's some weird noises. There's dishes breaking. There's things going on in the house that are completely out of the normal and out of the ordinary. And they're going to join the show. We're going to interview them and talk to them about what they've seen. And they tell me they've actually talked to ghosts. And what does a ghost sound like exactly? And what do they have to say? Are they more intelligent than the people that we find on social media sometimes? I don't know. We'll answer that question and more. Apparently, there's a lot of haunted buildings in Manitoba, too. I had no idea, especially in Brandon. Now, I know we've had some hospitals that have since shut down or been repurposed. We also have some old schools that have shut down and or been repurposed. But the thing is that we've got some really spooky buildings, some houses in this community that apparently are haunted. And again, I feel out of the loop on this stuff. Maybe maybe this has gone around the community a few times. We're going to take a look at that as well and identify some of these potential hotspots for some paranormal this morning. Also, Halloween. We better, you gotta. People joke a little bit about celebrating Halloween, but if you don't celebrate it, you're gonna lose it. If you don't have some fun with Halloween, it's gonna be gone, and it's disappearing actually from more and more schools. This is from this weekend.
Halloween is one of the most festive times of the year for kids. Children get to dress up and collect candy from their neighbors at night. And in many schools across the country, students get to parade around in their costumes. That's now a tradition of the past for the South Orange and Maplewood School District in New Jersey. For students there, the rules are strict. No more costumes, no more Halloween-themed events. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Tony Yates.
Oh, no, boo, bah humbug.
It's been tradition in many elementary schools across the state, getting dressed up for the Halloween school party. Seth Boyden Elementary School in Maplewood, though, did away with the idea back in 2015.
In the past, I have had children who have shared with me how sad they were because they are not allowed to participate in Halloween. And so I didn't have any of that this year either. So that was great.
And traded it instead for a fall festival.
Students come and they pick pumpkins, they decorate pumpkins. It's just a great time for families to get together and celebrate the fall and our community.
This year, the whole South Orange Maplewood School District jumped on board.
We have some within our communities that have either cultural or religious reservations as it pertains to Halloween. And so by having school-sponsored Halloween events, are we pushing a group of our families and our students to have to make decisions that may be counter to their belief system?
No.
The superintendent asked the principals.
You don't have to dress as a devil. Just put a Superman costume on. That's fine.
Fall festival would benefit families on many levels. Parents we spoke to also agreed.
I know some parents can't afford to get, costumes, especially if you have multiple kids and they want specific ones, and it gets a little bit harder. So I think it's good. It's inclusive, and I think all the kids enjoy it.
I think it's a wonderful idea. It's been a
No, you don't.
I hope they keep doing it.
No.
The district still does allow Halloween parties on school grounds, for instance, if they're sponsored by the PTA, but only during after-school hours, so no families feel pressured to participate.
Oh, that's boo, bah humbug. That's a bah humbug. Come on. It's Halloween. Let the kids. I was so jacked up on Halloween. I mean, I couldn't sleep the night before. I couldn't wait to go to school and be Superman. I was planning weeks in advance. I begged once my mom to please let me wear my Superman suit under an actual bunch of dress clothes. So that I could be like Clark Kent. And then as everybody, like the teacher would say, okay, class, it's time. It is time to put your Halloween costumes on. I'd be like, you'd hear dun 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 dun. Here come this 8-year-old dun 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 dun, and then you rip your shirt. My mom's like, you are not ripping a shirt. A perfectly good shirt, just so you can do that. I'm like, come on. It's Halloween. It's Halloween. I want to and show the ass. Look at me. I'm Superman. Superman. Mama Sunday says, let the kids have some fun. They don't have to participate if they don't want to. I think that might be part of the argument, is that you do have some kids that come and maybe don't have anything. But you know what? We could do like we do with the lunch program. There's kids that come to school and they don't have lunch. And so what do? We as a community, we come together and gather lunch. Here's a mask. Here's a Casper the Ghost mask or something generic. Maybe a superhero mask, something like that, so that you can take part if you want to. It's a voluntary thing. I don't know. Sometimes I think we overthink these things. Superman? Really? Yes, Nick. I'm an old guy back when Superman was cool. Like, we're talking Christopher Reeve. He's long gone now. But, oh yeah, Christopher Reeve, the original Superman. Oh yeah. That was a good one. I loved Superman. So many important problems. Well done, schools. Well, I can see why this particular school has a problem with Halloween, and I blame the skeletons. What are you talking about? I blame the skeletons. You'll see why in this report. Here, have a look at this. This is
because of that display. It's why the school put up privacy screening all around it to try and block the kids from seeing it. That's because they say the skeletons are sexually placed. We're not going to show you the full display, but I'm sure you can get an idea of what it looks like. The homeowner also put up a sign that says, quote, "Dear Karen, challenge accepted. Next year, try polite." I spoke with neighbors in the area who...
So this guy decided that his Halloween decorations, he was going to put up some skeletons in his yard for the kids to look at, and parents as they're dropping their kids off at school. The problem is that, you know how sometimes you'll be in a department store and you'll see those big stuffed teddy bears and people are putting them in weird positions on couches and stuff. You've seen that, right? Maybe I'm the one doing it. Anyway, this guy took skeletons and, well, he put them, he put the skeletons in some lewd positions. Here's. And so there's his Halloween display. And so I can understand why maybe some parents are a little, you know, they're wondering, okay, well, what's going on here? What's happening with these skeletons? Are they playing some kind of Halloween game?
It's indecent to have them positioned like that, while other parents tell me people are overreacting.
There's a time and a place for these kind of things, and
people are overreacting.
Look at that. What is he doing? His hands in the air. Yeah, man. Yeah. This would be Misbehaven's front yard, wouldn't it? Wouldn't? Oh, man. That is funny. The skeletons in the display are placed in a sexual manner, and therefore the fence has been covered with some black tarpage.
there's a time and a place for these kind of things, and that's an adult thing right there. So for children, no, I just don't accept that.
With what the kids have on their cell phones access to nowadays, that's PG.
Oh, good job, Dad.
Anything and everything, even if they have the
there we
locks
go
on the phones. It's just they find their ways around everything.
The school has responded to these concerns in an email to parents. They say the homeowners have refused to take down the decorations, so now they're working with the city and police if they can find a solution.
Oh, the homeowner. I am not taking down my... So I figured, okay, they didn't show it in the report. So I'm going to Google skeleton. Okay, so okay, caution. I'm not going to pull these up and blow these up in the... Jeez. Apparently it's art. Apparently it's art. So this is, one example of what you might see in the guy's yard. How nice is that? Happy Halloween. Happy... Jeez. Oh, man. So, yeah, I blame that guy. And then the schools come back, right? And they say, okay, you know what? Enough messing around. We're not doing this. We're not doing the whole Halloween thing because you know what? The neighbors, they just decide that this is going to be the way they're going to decorate the yard. Paul says it's only dirty if you make it dirty. Misbehaving loves it. Says don't need all them bones. And Road Reverend says they're just wrestling. Exactly. They're just wrestling, right? Alternative Choice Garden Center. Today is the last day to get into the haunted house. It's going to close down for the season, obviously, at the end of the night tonight. So you're going to want to get in there and make a donation to Westman Dreams for Kids, if you can, please. This is going to be a great place to go for Halloween. You may want to show early. It is going to be a popular place because there's not many places to go with the weather being as cold as it is. Alternative Choice Garden Center is at the corner of 34th and Patricia, and as I'd mentioned before, they have a spot where you can take some awesome fall photos. And, of course, the haunted greenhouse is there. Admission is free. They are accepting donations to Westman Dreams for Kids. 727-7289 for daytime viewing when the kids are not in school. If you've got a group, I don't know if you're going to even get in today. If you're going to give them a call, 727-7289. But, again, they will have that haunted greenhouse open today, final day at Alternative Choice Garden Center at the corner of 34th and Patricia. Tim Hortons Westman and area with 10 locations to serve you. Last day of their spooky, delicious donut we were sharing with you on social media just yesterday. Oh, man. This is, and the final day to get your Tim's bucket, your glow-in-the-dark bucket, if you didn't get one already. Chances are they've sold out for a second time. But what I'm talking about is the spooky sour cream donuts. Oh, I love the sour cream. They are only available until Halloween is over tonight, so tonight at midnight. If you like the Halloween spooky sour cream, make sure you pick one up at your local Tim Hortons with 10 area locations to serve you in Virton, Neepawa, Dauphin, and Moosomin, Saskatchewan, where NHL hockey cards are back. Next, trading night. The hockey card trading night at Tim's on Main in Dauphin and on 18th in Brandon is coming up November the 2nd, which happens to be Thursday. So mark that down. Thursday is the next night for hockey card trading nights. All right? Okay, Halloween is here. And I couldn't get over how many spooky places there are in Brandon. This is crazy. I posted yesterday that there is barely anything outside of maybe the art gallery and, of course, the Culinary Arts Center, which used to be a hospital, and a couple other well-known places, but no, there's some spooky stuff, man. And we're going to take a look at that coming up in the next little bit. Also, our special guests joining us from Winnipeg Paranormal, what it's like to go hunting for ghosts. We'll go ghost hunting this morning, so we have only just begun. But what does a beach show do when it's a beach day and it's minus a bazillion outside? Well, not much of a tropical beach for us today because we have a scary beach. It's Halloween. It's Halloween after all. So we're going to take a quick beach break, our first beach break of the morning. And we are going to send you to the haunted beach. Tell me how many kids you had last year and how many you're expecting this year. Do you know how many kids you had at the door last year? How many kids did you have at the door last year? And how many are you expecting this year? Last year we had, I believe it was 120. I bet we'll be lucky to get half this year. Half. Quick beach break. We're back with more in just a second. come Paul is so warm? -7 where Paul is, and Brandon is -16. Well, we have cleared right out. Look at this. Wind chill feels like -25. It has not been this cold in 8 months. This is definitely going to be one of the coldest Halloweens we have had in years. So if you are one of these people that, and there are many that cut back a little bit because of what we've seen with the economy, don't fret, don't frown. You may not run out of candy because there may not be quite as many kids. No takers. You guys don't want to share how many kids you had last year, trick-or-treating, and what you think is going to be the result tonight? No? Let's take a look outside, and welcome back to Southern Manitoba. And let's take a look outside and see what we're looking at as far as road conditions are concerned. Cindy says -10 and a skiff of snow, more grass than snow. It is clear in Brandon. It is cold. It is nasty. There is a look at your road conditions. Again, they did have to close a section of the Trans-Canada down because of icy conditions yesterday between 21 and the Saskatchewan border. Also, a piece of the Portage overpass apparently iced up, and they had to keep that closed or close to the overpass. Anyway, it doesn't matter because it's all open now. Everything, it's business as usual as you hit the highway today. But there's your live look at Southern Manitoba. Roads generally looking pretty good. 283 Pipestone looks a little bit slippery. Manitoba 511 is reporting that road conditions are generally pretty good, but they were very slippery last night. Man, and the worst stretch of highway this morning is likely to be your trip to Wawanesa or Glenboro if you're going from Brandon on, what highway number is that? Hang on a second here. Highway 10 to what, though? What is the name? 242. That is snow-covered and slippery still. So Nesbitt, Wawanesa, Glenboro, Cypress River region, if you're traveling in that area, please be careful. As well, Trans-Canada Highway, not perfect. Oak Lake to the Saskatchewan border still has some slippery sections. And it still has some slippery sections there. And we've got some slippery sections on the Trans-Canada into Winnipeg, too. So basically from Brandon to McGregor, we're seeing a little bit of trouble spots there. But there's your look this morning of downtown Winnipeg on a cold Halloween, last day of October. Back into the beach bunker, a haunted beach bunker we go. Happy Halloween. Ooh, -19 for misbehaving. I'm going to get an update. Oh, you know what I didn't do is I didn't show you our air temperature map because those just joining us at 7:30. Look at how cold we are. Look, compared to the rest of North America, Facebook and TikTok and X and YouTube. Look at this. Look at us sitting here in the middle of the continent all gross and purple. Yeah. Basically, on the North Dakota-Montana border and Manitoba, Saskatchewan border, and then the Canada-U.S. border. That is the sweet spot of cold right now. And then let's go to the wind chill, and that's not good either. It's very spooky. Very spooky wind chill. There's the wind chill map. And you know what? It goes goes without saying that it's cold right across the continent. Unless you're on the coast, you're feeling cold this morning. This is a big Arctic air mass that is pushed all the way down to North Texas, New Mexico, and just about hit Vegas. You can see it there. That cold air is almost in southern Nevada, so it pushes down hard. Pushes down far. Was talking to someone in Wisconsin yesterday, and she was freezing, said Paul. Yeah, it's winter's here, and it is not going to get any warmer. I was watching some stuff out of North Dakota yesterday, and they got more snow than we did, and they were all optimistic. Well, it'll probably be melted by Thanksgiving, and we'll see some grass again. I'm like, oh, you don't think so? Something tells me this is it. Something tells me that, this is how it's going to be. The winter is here, and it's not bad after tomorrow once Halloween is done, but I wanted to get to Halloween. I know you did too. I wanted you to have trick-or-treating fun. I wanted the kids to get out there and have a good time tonight. Ah, dang it. Boo, weatherman. Boo. So we'll be extra spooky in the beach bunker. Good morning. And if you're just joining the show, I'm seeing some people coming and going on Twitch and X this morning. Good morning. This is the Tyler Glenn Show, the show about food, fun places, and the mayhem of life. We've got some special guests joining us from Winnipeg Paranormal this morning. They're going to tell us what it's like to ghost hunt. I spoke with them yesterday. I'm going to hopefully this is going to work for me here this morning. They were just absolutely fantastic guests as we got things working. Okay. All right, this is going to seem a little weird. Hang tight here for a second. Winnipeg Paranormal Group joins us this morning, and this is so cool that we've got Kelly and Ashley here. Thank you so much for making time to join us on this Halloween edition of the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so who wants to go first? What is it that the group does? Winnipeg Paranormal Group. How big are you and what do you guys do?
Oh, Ashley, why don't you start?
Well, we are, like you said, Winnipeg Paranormal. We provide services to private clients. So we'll go in and do investigations if they're reporting paranormal activity in their home. We also do public investigations where we invite the public to come and join us at a known location that has hauntings and see what they can investigate and find out for themselves. Kelly and I are the main people who run it. Well, we run it.
Hopefully the only people.
We have a few other volunteers who help us out on investigations and public events, and we are very thankful to them for helping us out because we wouldn't be able to do some of the things we do without them. But yeah, it's primarily myself and Kelly.
Yeah.
And so what kinds of things have you come across lately? What kinds of things have you come into contact with?
Wow. Well, it's been rather busy as of late. We don't know what's going on out there. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, like we've run into some crazy stuff. Like people are always asking if there's stuff that blows our minds. Like, I mean, I've seen crazy. It looked like clouds going into somebody's bedroom, and we've seen shadow people and experienced some pretty intense stuff like illness that lasted long periods, things like that. We were just on an investigation in an old nunnery, and something kept like opening the door, and it actually locked me out. I went outside for a few minutes, and it like physically like turned the lock and locked me out of the house. I was like, oh, this whoever's in here does not want me coming back in.
Wow. So do you ever get to the point where you're like, you say to yourself, I'm never going to do this again. This has been a nice hobby, but I think I'm going to hang up my
No,
Ghostbusters uniform?
Never.
No.
Never.
Never. So it never
No.
gets too scary.
If anything, it drives us forward. It motivates us. Yeah, people always
Yeah.
think we're crazy, but
We're the ones running towards whatever it is while everyone's running away.
Wow. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go through the process of getting you guys involved. How does that work? Are you in the phone book next to Ghostbusters, Winnipeg Paranormal Activity? How does that work?
Wait, what's the phone book? Do they still have those? I don't think they do.
So do they just find you online, obviously, and say, I got some weird stuff going on in my house? Is that how it works?
Yeah. Like they find us online. We're on Facebook. They can find us through, like, we have a website, Winnipeg Paranormal. We have an email, wpgparanormal@gmail.com. We're always doing like speaking engagements and public events. So when we run into people, we're constantly giving out our cards as well, which has our cell phone numbers on there, which a lot of people are like, you guys are crazy for doing that, but it's Winnipeg is it's a decent sized city run like a small town, so it seems like word spreads pretty quickly.
I can imagine. Have you guys ever been out to Brandon at all, or outside Winnipeg?
We have been outside Winnipeg. We used to actually, we've traveled down to Michigan. We've gone, like, we were just in Camp Morton, which is only about an hour away, but, we've, like, I used to live in Calgary, so I've gone to Calgary. I'm originally from Massachusetts, so whenever I go home to visit, people ask me, to investigate out there. So whenever we go anywhere, I'm usually calling ahead. I'm like, can we come out to, investigate with you? Usually groups are really friendly and we investigate with them, and word spreads about us whenever we're anywhere. We're right now we're actually working with a group in Kenora.
Wow. And so is this a hobby, or do you guys do this for money, or what's the business plan for this?
Well, it's definitely not a job, even though it takes more time than my full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a hobby. It's a passion for us. It's something that we love to do, and we hope that we can continue doing it for a long time to come.
I guess so.
It's a lot of work to go through all of the evidence that we go through, and and we have to follow up with the people. Like, a lot of these people are really genuinely scared to sleep at night. So this is, a serious thing that we do.
I can imagine. So, so they reach out to you and they get you, and you come over, and you what's the process involved? Is there like a step-by-step recipe book that you go through to see what's going on in these different locations?
There actually is.
Oh,
yeah.
Excellent. All right, take us through the steps.
Okay.
The first thing we do is we actually sit down with the client. So we'll go to their home, we talk to them, we get a feel for what's going on in the house, the size of the house that they're in, so that we can decide how many volunteers we need with us. There's normally many emails and phone calls in between there. And then we kind of gauge the homeowner's need for the investigation. So sometimes it's just a matter of them wanting the house smudged, which kind of puts up a protection, a barrier, and pushes out can push out what is in the home for a temporary basis. Others, if the investigation is warranted, where there's lots of activity, children are involved, things like that, then we'll sit down and we'll actually schedule a date for the investigation.
All right. And then so you schedule a date for the investigation. And how long does that take? Is that a one-day thing? Is that a weekend thing? How long does that take?
It can take hours, but we find that a lot of times when we go into homes, it takes us going back at least 2 to 3 times. Sometimes we're going back to a client's house years later. They're saying that,
Really?
activity starts up again. They stir it up, or we actually find out that it's not particularly the house that's being haunted. It's the person who's being followed, or there's an attachment, or different variables that come into play.
Wow. And so what would be the scariest thing that you guys have seen in your journey of doing this? I bet you get asked that all the time.
We do.
And is it the same story, or is it 2 separate stories for each of you?
Okay, you go, Ashley.
Well, I'm going to go with the one that I know you're going to pick too. So we went into a home. We didn't think much of it. To be honest, the videos that they sent us were kind of grainy, didn't look like much was going on. I was a newbie. I hadn't been doing this very long. But both Kelly and I went in without protecting ourselves. And there was some crazy stuff that happened. I got sick and had to remove myself from the home for a few minutes just to kind of reground myself, I guess you could say, kind of center myself again, get my bearings back. And while I was doing that, Kelly took my place and she experienced the same things as I did. Um, it's definitely a chance for learning. You never go in without protecting, even if you don't think there's something there.
What does that mean? What does that mean, like protecting yourself? What does that mean?
I think it's different for every person. But for me, it's kind of envisioning and putting an imaginary barrier around myself. So it's something that's comforting and it feels protective to me. It doesn't prevent anything from happening to me. So like I always explain it, like if something wants to touch you, you're still going to be touched. You're still going to be poked. You're still going to have your hair pulled.
Jeez.
But it stops something from attaching itself to you. It provides that extra barrier there so that it has a harder time of actually making that attachment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it was so scary because it was like the first time we experienced something and we just weren't like I had been doing it a little longer than her, but I still just I assumed things, and you know what happens when you assume. So I mean my scariest experience now is we went into an old nursing home that was shut down. And as you can imagine, a lot of people passed away in there, and it's been used for other things as well. And there were a lot of. We usually don't get a lot of like really negative things that come over our equipment, but there was some really negative stuff that was coming over the equipment, and it was kind of disturbing. And we were just like, well, you know, there's probably a lot of different. I mean, there was definitely a lot of different spirits or entities present, but I immediately started getting sick, and I was sick for months. I was having nightmares for days after, and I was like, oh, no. Like I did protect myself, but like Ashley said, it doesn't 100% protect you from everything. And it kind of shook me, but I was determined to get back in there and make sure that whatever was in there knew that, you know, you can do this to me, but we're not gonna back down if there's something that needs to be helped or crossed over.
So is it in your opinion, is it always bad, like when you're encountering this energy or whatever it is that you're encountering? You know, we see in the movies that it's scaring the hell out of people, and there's bad music playing to make it scare you even more, and so on. But you know, is there ever times that you have these encounters and they're actually pleasant or benign?
Most of the time they're benign.
Oh, most of the time.
Most of the time. Like all that stuff on TV and movies, like Ashley and I get really aggravated because everybody's like, do you have demons everywhere you go? We're like, no, that's not reality at all.
No, that's all just made up for TV. I won't say made up, but it's embellished and enhanced, and it's all ratings, right? That's what they want. So, you know, if somebody gets possessed every episode, well, there's your ratings, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. And so now neither one of you are astrophysicists or scientists, so I'm going to, and I'm assuming that, I apologize, but what I want you to do is I want you to go out on a limb and in your best plain speak possible, explain to me what you think these things are. What is it that you are encountering? What do you think this is?
For me, I think I would describe it as maybe leftover energy. So even just your basic physics, right? Everything is made up of energy. Everything has energy. So when our physical bodies die, we're still energy.
So it's energy.
And the fact that we actually get names that correlate with people who have lived in the house, and we've found pictures that appear of like when we went, because Ashley was originally a client, and when several things happened in the house that she was living in at the time, I took a bunch of pictures, and you could see what looked like a little girl like standing on the bed. And then one of our team members said, I didn't want to tell you this earlier to lead you, on to be thinking these things, because we try not to, and put that in somebody's head, because then you can say, well, this is what I see, right? He's like, now that you said that you've seen a little girl standing on the bed, he goes, I know somebody that used to actually live there and said that he used to see a little girl in the basement. So it's when you see all those things correlate, you're just like, okay, there's definitely, energy, or like spiritual energy left over from actual people that were living here. I mean, how can you deny something like that when you get actual names coming across, and people are like, oh, well, this person actually lived here, and we don't know where those names came from. We try not to get too much information, so it's pretty telling when you see and hear things like that. And that's what really drives Ashley and I forward. We're just like, oh man, we have to know more.
And so then, with that being said, what do you think is the cause of this in your opinion? Like, are they stuck? Is this just leftover energy? Or because again, Hollywood says it's haunting, we're being punished, we're being scared, there's payback, retribution, blah, blah, blah. But to me, it just seems like there's likely some kind of logical explanation as to why this is happening.
And there's so many reasons that people believe are out there. I mean, sometimes there's messages that loved ones want to get through, or sometimes they are stuck, or sometimes there's been a tragic event that happened there. So there's so many, like I said, there's so many variables, and this field it's all theory based. So we're always trying to figure it all out. It's like a mystery puzzle that we're always continuously trying to put together.
And so now I want to ask you, what is the I want you to think to the time that you were doing your paranormal investigation, and I want you to think of the time that you were shocked and or surprised the most, where you learned something, you were knocked off your feet. It was like the OMG of your career. What was the OMG of your time doing this so far?
Ashley's house.
Ashley's house?
She doesn't live there anymore, unfortunately.
That's probably a good thing.
I mean, when you see something like, that looks like it was from a poltergeist movie, and you see that actual cloud going up into somebody's ceiling, I was like, what the hell is that? I was blown away. I was just blown away, and I'll never get over something like that. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm hooked. I need to know. I need to understand this.
I don't know how you do it and not fill your pants. Honestly, I feel a little jittery just talking to you. This is crazy. Oh my God. I don't know how it doesn't scare the hell out of you guys. Really.
Well, there are things that do scare us. We're just like, oh, okay. I think we just angered someone, or something frightening. We're just, and we do lots of experimenting, and we, I'll say, Ashley, walk down that hallway and tell me what you think, and she'll stop in the same exact place that I stopped, and I'm like, okay, all right, what do you think's going on there?
I think part of it too is having each other, right? We're not doing this alone. So, I know I have Kelly's support no matter what.
Yeah.
She's got my back, and that's so big in this field to know that you've got somebody with you.
That's right.
And you were saying, like, as far as the worst case scenario, I mean, you were saying you were sick for a while after one paranormal investigation. You couldn't sleep for a while. And is hair pulling as bad physically as it could get? Like, you actually feel like you physically had your hair pulled? Is that right?
Oh yeah, just this weekend when we were at the nunnery, I had my hair pulled. It's like my hair was pulled. There was no other explanation. We tried to find a reason. Maybe I brushed up a wall, and the physical touch is there.
Yeah, yeah.
That is incredible. That is amazing. So, what are your recommendations to anybody that might be watching or listening that may be spooked by something? What should we do if we suspect that there's something weird and wacky going on with paranormal in our place? Should we just reach out and contact you, and then you come out and see us?
That's probably the best thing to do. Like we don't recommend people sit by themselves, especially if they don't know what they're doing. And some people will just sit there and do like EVP sessions, which is where you're like sitting with an audio recorder and then they start doing things like that. I mean, I have Ouija boards behind me on the wall, but I don't recommend just sitting and doing a Ouija board session by yourself and not knowing what you're doing. And so we're always, like Ashley said, we're always worried about people not protecting themselves and just going out and willy-nilly and just contacting whatever's going on in there, because I mean you could run into a scary situation if you're doing that. So we tell people, contact us, we'll do whatever we can to help you.
Contact the experts. And so lastly, with regards to any paranormal activity, have you ever had anything close to a conversation? What is the closest thing? Or is it just noises, bumps, scrapes, hair pull, things like that? Has there ever been any kind of conversation, or is it just noises?
Oh, there's been conversations. Just I think back in like June, July, can't remember exactly when, we went to a home. The husband had died within the last year, and we helped the wife have a full conversation with him.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How does it, you're just sitting at the kitchen table and it's like, and like, could you hear it? What was it like?
Well, we used different tools in conjunction with each other. So we had the ghost box, and his voice actually came over the ghost box, which is like a little modified radio. It goes through different radio stations, and we heard his name. And we were also using a Ouija board at the same time. So he was able to spell out different words, and because she wanted to make sure that he was okay with her selling the home. It was actually a really emotional experience and profound experience for us. We were like, thank you that you allowed us to be part of this. And, there were a lot of tears in the room at the time.
I bet.
Yeah.
The hair on my arms is standing up straight here. It's crazy. That is wild. Wow. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time, Kelly and Ashley. Winnipeg Paranormal, you guys are on, like you say, you're on social media. What is your website address? And do people just simply send you an email and reach out and say hello and contact you? And it's just that easy?
Yes, it's just that easy. winnipegparanormal.com or wpgparanormal@gmail.com. And we also have a Facebook group.
Excellent.
Yeah, so they can reach out to us on there as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I got this whole camera switching thing kind of figured out by the time we got this interview done. So now I feel like I'm an expert. Thank you so much. And this is Ashley right here. I've got you on the screen, and watch this. I'm going to do some clicking and clacking, and look at that. There's Kelly. Look at this. Oh, I appreciate you coming in. I learned something today. My first two guests at one time. I don't want to say what that is.
There you go. See, it was a learning experience.
Nice. Hey, you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. Happy Halloween. Keep up the good work. I hope I sleep now because I'm just kind of freaked out having this conversation. I'm not going to lie. I do think that the energy, there's something to that. And so it's like, good for you to kind of lean into that and take it head on and help people out the way you do. So keep up the good work. And again, thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. So there you go. Yeah, I knew you guys would be talking about I didn't want to say the other word, but they were fantastic. And, Misbehaving says, do you really believe in this stuff? Listen, I have a cousin who is I'm very close with. He's a child psychiatrist. And you know the movie that starred Bruce Willis, and it's like, I see dead people. He has actually worked with kids like that. And some of the stories that he has told me would make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. And he can't explain it. He is a devout, this guy, my cousin, who is a child psychiatrist, psychologist, I don't know which one it is. He is a devout Christian, super Christian, one of those super Christian people. And so it's you can tell that it's a little bit not congruent for him. It's a little frustrating that's what lends itself to the credibility, is that he doesn't want to talk about this. He doesn't want to admit that there are these like extra spirit things going around, because he believes what he believes. And I think that's why no one knows, and no one can say for sure. So I think that's the whole name of the game, right? Is that no one can say for sure. We got to take a beach break here. And again, we have got a haunted beach for you today. This is a little bit of Halloween fun, okay? Halloween fun on the beach, our spooky beach. We are back. We are going to have some tarot card reading maybe next. It's Halloween, guys. You're supposed to have some fun on Halloween. And as always, the Sunseekers would rather me play a little bit of Pornhub on the channel, but we do have to say farewell to our friends on TikTok and Facebook and the other platforms. We're moving the party over to twitch.tv/Tyler Glenn Show. I want to say happy Halloween, TikTok friends. Thank you for being here for part of the show. Happy Halloween. Be safe and stay warm, okay? And before we get to the beach, let's say farewell to our Facebook friends and our friends on X and other social platforms, because we're moving exclusively over to Twitch, where the Halloween spookiness continues at twitch.tv/Tyler Glenn Show. Have a great Halloween. Be safe and